Hey, what's up, guys? This is MugenLord here, and apparently, from what the information and data that's been gathered within the gaming industry in itself, it appears that gamers are finding more enjoyment in playing older games rather than the current games of this generation, especially back in 2023. And we're going to find out why, or I want to give you my thoughts and reasons why this may be the case. But we're going to follow this article, and before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we're going to dive into this right now. So apparently on IGN, it says that gamers mostly played older games like GTA 5 and Fortnite in 2023. Golden oldies. Now, I wouldn't say golden oldies. I mean, these games, they're still quite new to me, but I can see why. So it says Spider-Man 2, Starfield, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom all launched in 2023, but these blockbusters didn't stop Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch players from spending most of their time with older games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Fortnite. As reported by Kotaku, video game market analysis Newzoo released a report which reveals 66 titles accounted for 80% of overall playtime in 2023. Of that number, a huge 63% of playtime was spent with games released 6 years ago and more. Newzoo ranked games on each platform based on their monthly active users, 37 markets, with the exception of Switch, which only used data from the US and UK. Not one new release reached the PC list, while only EA Sports FC24 made it onto the PlayStations. Starfield was the only 2023 game on the Xbox list, while Switch saw 3 new additions including Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Wonders, and Hogwarts Legacy. And we're going to talk about that for a second, because you notice the pattern when it comes to Nintendo. Now, we have games like Starfield and Spider-Man, these big AAA titles that's on the Xbox and PlayStation. And when it comes to the Xbox and PlayStation, when we click on this chart as well, all it shows is essentially most of the Xbox and PlayStation, and even down to the PC, all playing these older titles and older games. It's only when you go look at Nintendo where Nintendo have some of the most recent titles. Why is that? Especially when it comes to Nintendo. You know why. When it comes to Nintendo, and I say it time and time again, Nintendo is in like a whole market of itself. And not just that, Nintendo creates video games. That's what they do, first and foremost. You look at Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Bros. Wonders, and of course Hogwarts Legacy. That's an IP that's very popular outside the realm of games. But you look at Super Mario Bros. Wonder and you look at Tears of the Kingdom. These two both have something in common. They're Nintendo games and they're video games. It gives you some of the most replayability in most games in the current time, especially when it comes to this industry, compared to when you look at PlayStation and you look at Xbox, where you have all these AAA experiences, but most of these AAA experiences are more like cinematic movies rather than video games. And also, you gotta look at the microtransactions. They also selling you these expensive games that feel incomplete or that's missing content, constantly selling you DLC, compared to what Nintendo is doing. So we're going to continue on. So it says Fortnite was the most played game on all platforms, while Roblox, Minecraft, GTA 5, Call of Duty, with Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and Warzone counted as one game. Rocket League provides all proving mainstays too. Altogether, Fortnite, Roblox, League of Legends, Minecraft, and GTA 5 accounted for 25% of all the playtime in 2023, while annual releases like FC, formerly FIFA, NBA 2K, and Madden accounted for 15% of all time playtime. And you gotta understand, these titles right here, like Roblox, something that my daughter played, Minecraft, my daughter played, GTA 5, we don't need to really say much about that. GTA 5, man, has a world of its own. It has its own economy and everything. So that game has been around for almost over a decade now and still continue to thrive while gamers wait for GTA 6. But what all these games have in common, these games provide replayability and also longevity. You look at Fortnite. Fortnite is a service now. It's not just this battle royale or this zombie tower defense game anymore. It's a service. You got Lego Fortnite, you got racing games, they got kits to where you can make your own games, kind of like what also a Roblox and Minecraft does. These are the type of games that you can just get into it, it's free to play, and you can just invest as much time as you want, be able to link up with friends, and it has that addictive fun factor that lasts for this long, for years now. So it makes sense. So it says, I quote, studios hoping to release a new title will find it challenging to include these playtime hours in their addressable market, as they nearly always go to these games to engage players in reliable annual basis, Newzoo said. In other words, it's a tall order to steal playtime hours from Call of Duty or big sports titles. And that's the thing. See, when you create these live or game as a service, and when a game of it as a service happens to be successful, when you look at like Fortnite and stuff like that, if they happen to be successful, people's going to invest time into it because it appreciates the gamers' time. Gamers are getting a lot of value out of it, so they're going to continue to constantly play those. And also, when it comes to these type of live service games that has dailies that you have to do, people would dedicate their time and people dedicate their money to it. So they don't have enough time to be able to go out there and branch and play other games. And as I said before, a lot of these newer titles is not giving gamers that a dopamine rush, that satisfaction, that validation that they want to get out of these games. When you have games like Fortnite and Roblox that give you that satisfaction, that constant gratification instantly, and you having a good time and it respects your time. So now these developers had created a conundrum here or a situation to where is, how do we fit these new titles in between all of this when you have gamers keep running back to these titles? And this is the problem that they all created for themselves. So this left us just with 8% of total playtime for completely new releases, which includes games released in 2022 and 2023. While that may sound dire, the reality is that it's easily possible to be successful with these within these constraints, Newzoo added. Diablo 4 claimed the top spot of these wholly new games with 1.4 of 2023 total playtime. This was followed by Hogwarts Legacy at 0.8%, Baldur's Gate at 0.6%, and Elden Ring and Starfield both at 0.3%. It's worth noting that 4 of these titles are premium games, while only one of them is a live service, Newzoo said. And this is what I said. Look at Baldur's Gate. Why is Baldur's Gate on there? Because Baldur's Gate 3 is a game. And despite the video that I made about the whole bear sex video, you still have to give the respect that Baldur's Gate 3 delivers. It delivers on a RPG experience. It gave the fans what they want as far as being able to have the freedom and to make the decisions that you want to do in the game. And the gameplay is addictive. This is a full experience that even the developers themselves, when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, saying that no, there's ain't gonna be no DLC or anything like that. This is the experience. This is what old school gaming used to be. This is the experience right here, and that's it. On to something new or whatever. That's why Baldur's Gate 3 up there. Elden Ring. Look at Elden Ring. From Software. From Software is one of the companies, and I remember From Software back in the 90s when they made Kingsfield, which the Demon Souls and the Souls games is really based after. And I own the Kingsfield game. But I say this is because when it comes to From Software, they create video games. They create a gaming experience like no other. You know, you're actually in control. The game doesn't take control from the player. It's satisfying when you surpass a challenge that the Souls games give you, and it makes players want to come back for more. That's why it's on that list. And of course, Hogwarts Legacy is, like I said, it's an IP that exists outside gaming, so it's going to have its own cult following. And then you look at Starfield. Starfield is one of those games that everybody really wanted to get into and want to see what the game has to offer. That's why you see those newer games on there. So despite these comparatively low playtime numbers, all of these games were still deemed incredibly successful. Diablo saw 10 million players in its launch month of June 2023, which led to record-breaking financial quarters for publishers Activision Blizzard, same company which releases Call of Duty. Hogwarts Legacy, Harry Potter universe game, was the best-selling game of 2023, the first non-Call of Duty game from this company, like GTA 5. And as for Baldur's Gate 3, not only did it capture the imagination of players in unprecedented ways, it won Myriad Games Awards, and it also made $90 million for publisher Hasbro. So yes, this is pretty much the thing here, that a lot of gamers are sticking and going back to older games. And the wonders of this it's also showing where we're at when it comes to gaming. I've talked to you guys also in my Discord chat that a lot of you guys haven't even bothered to get a PS5 or Xbox Series X. A lot of you guys are just sticking to emulation and going around collecting PS4 and even PS3 games. There's a big PS3 boom that's going on right now, and I've been hearing it from you guys, many people over the internet. People's going around plugging back up their PS3 and playing some of their PS3 titles, and also the Xbox 360. A lot of you guys are playing your Xbox 360, going back playing those titles. And it's also good to see that people talking about the Nintendo Wii U, that people is modding their Wii U and playing their Nintendo Wii U. And it makes me glad to be an owner of the Nintendo Wii U, which I've loved that console. To me, that console is the Dreamcast of Nintendo systems. I love the Wii U, and I'm also tempted myself to go on my storage and unpack it and just plug it up and have some fun with the Nintendo Wii U. But it goes to show the current state of gaming and AAA gaming all in itself, to the point where gamers are saying like, yo, like, no, I have more time and more fun to play these older games. Because like I said before, man, you guys, if you didn't live in the 90s or wasn't born in the 90s at the time, man, you guys are being robbed of golden gaming experiences. I can't imagine gamers today playing games today, and when they get older and saying, oh man, gaming was fun back in the day in my time. I can't say it. I can't see it at all. You guys were missing out on phenomenal gaming experiences from the 80s up into the early 2000s. You guys are getting robbed. We had full experience games. Once you bought a game and played it, that was it. There was no DLC, there was no patches, there was nothing. And I noticed with this generation of gamers today, everybody's expecting DLC. Everybody's expecting, after they play a game, and especially with fighting games, after 2 weeks, people are wondering when's the first DLC character. Like, damn, the game just came out like 2 weeks ago, and people are expecting the next fighter with DLC already, and the game hasn't been around for 2 weeks. And also with this new generation of gaming, we're constantly wanting developers to show us something about the game, constant with trailers, constantly updating us with newer gameplay mechanics and everything like that. Back in the day, all we had was game magazines and box art, and we had to go to the store and talk to somebody who was knowledgeable about video games to get their advice, or a friend or a relative would tell you, say, man, this is a good game, and you just went based off of that. Now we're getting all kinds of information, and the fact is that these newer games are charging you $70 and even higher than $70. And when you get the game has a post patch. Games are now being retroactively censored. We talked about that with Skullgirls. So we getting all this Final Fantasy VII remake, what they did to Tifa. They went back. The game's 4 years old. They went back and censored her. So we getting all this type of like nonsense when it comes to these games. Microtransactions. They trying to get away from the loot boxes, which they did. Now we have the battle passes and stuff. Now we're taking regular standard features, and now we're locking them behind paywalls. Now fatalities in Mortal Kombat 1 you have to purchase and stuff like that. And sad to say, Tekken 8 has now fallen into the battle pass situation as well, which got some fans really upset about, which we'll talk about in a separate video pretty soon. But you guys, man, I feel sorry for anybody who was born and grew up in the mid 2000s up into now, because you missed a whole legacy. Just like what Vegeta said to Dr. Gero when they decided not to record what happened to Goku and them on Planet Namek. And Vegeta told Dr. Gero and that fat ass android, what was it, Android 20, I think, told him that, yo, it's a shame that you didn't record our battles on Planet Namek, because they came back as Super Saiyans and shit like that. That's how I feel. You guys are missing out. Y'all don't know anything that happened before that led up to where we at in gaming. I'm sorry, I just have to say. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. What do you think about this, that gamers are going back playing older games? And it's crazy now, I'm seeing some YouTubers making channels redecorating their room to be in the early 2000s and the 90s. And these are the younger generation who never experienced that era. So they're trying to live in that era as much as possible by designing and decorating their room, wearing the clothing. My daughter is pretty funny. My 15-year-old daughter, she was asking me, hey dad, you have any like Y2K jeans or Y2K shirts and stuff like that? Even my daughter, who was born in 2009, you know, don't even know what it was like living in the early 2000s and being alive and well in the early 90s and everything. So we have a whole new generation, and we're going to have a culture who pretty much want to live off of that era that they have never witnessed or had never lived before. So this is something interesting to see, and the fact that I lived in that era, it's quite funny. It makes you realize how blessed I was to live in an era such as the, you know, early 90s up into the early 2000s, and I wish I would have took advantage of it more. You know, I think everybody, especially a lot of us gamers, had took that era for granted. Now that we see where the current state of gaming is, where it's at now. So that pretty much wraps up this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord, sign off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.